Hello and thank you for coming to the McWaters Effect. I'm your host, Matt, and today I'm going to be watching a video, and it has Janice Bryant, and she is a volunteer to the 2002 selection, and she's going to be talking about what she saw while she was doing that. Alright, let's check out the video.
Where I wanted to tell you that I do have a pretty strong project management technology background. This is not, I would say, everybody raves about how well run and how tight this room is that we were working in. I was in the tabulation center, you know, the glass and the servers in a glass room, and all the computers are on a single cable that you can see. None of that matters because two things. One, Dominion employees were the only ones that were running any of that equipment. So and I was in the tabulation center 6 different days, day and night shifts. And no county employees, no IT people, no one else was touching any of the software. They did all the training for the adjudicators. They ran all the reports. And so, and I brought that up on my very first day in the room. I said, this doesn't seem right. As a person with my background, never in a million years would I turn my company's most important thing over to someone else, and there's only 2 guys, and they had the whole control of everything. I also participated in the random ballot selection for hand audit, picking the ballots, you know, determining which bin we were going to select. And even that, Dominion ran the reports for. So no one, I mean, they knew exactly what was in the hand audit boxes. That made me nervous also. And they also know when we pulled the last box, which was probably 8 days before they quit counting ballots. So I don't know. That's all I can tell you is what I observed. I can't tell you that there was anything wrong. I just can tell you what I observed. And as a senior manager over big projects, never in a million years would I have allowed some of the stuff that I saw going on there. The other thing that I wanted to make sure, the final week that they were counting ballots, I came in, I think, on a Tuesday. When I had left the Friday before, I did not notice there was a laptop in the room behind the wall that John, one of the Dominion employees, was working on. And when I came in on that Tuesday and walked around where they were doing the hand entry of ballots, I also noticed that laptop sitting there, and John was working on it. And it's not a secure room. If you're bringing a laptop in and out of a room, who knows what happened there. And every one of the 50, potentially, desktops that were in there had a row of USB ports on the side of it. So I get very angry when I hear some of our leaders here saying, oh, it's secure, nothing can get in or out. That's not true. So I will tell you that is probably the biggest issue that I had. I will also say there were 3 rows of adjudicators. So, and you may have heard this before or seen it. 1 Republican, 1 Democrat, sitting at they call them boards, but it's a monitor, and adjudicating any issue ballots that kick out that can't be tabulated automatically. And those rows, the first few days I was in there, we were allowed to walk between the rows, so we could get fairly close. They were very close together, so with COVID and everything else, it was awkward anyway, but we could walk between them, and we were all wearing masks, by the way. But anyway, when I came back in I can't tell you the day, but they were placing stickers on the floor to keep us away, so we could only see the back row of monitors and get close enough to see anything that was happening. So I would say that the reason they gave was that one of the observers had gotten too close and was actually like touching people. I do not know, I wasn't there, that's the reason I was told, but then we were not allowed the rest of the time anywhere near the rest of the monitors. So we could see the back. I don't know how many were on the back row, but we could see all those pretty clearly, but other than that, I couldn't tell you what was happening on the adjudication. Let's see. There was one more thing that wasn't on my list. They reset the tabulation machines 3 times to 0.
I beg your pardon, I didn't hear you.
Reset the tabulation machines 3 times to 0.
At what point?
Throughout, because they did not know, and this is literally what Dominion and Renee, who works for the county, told me. They didn't know what would happen after so many batches had gone through those new high-speed tabulation machines. So apparently they can take a card out and start over at 0. Now, as observers, we were recording the counts on each of those machines at the end of each shift. And then when it started over at 0, we recorded that. So it's recorded, it wasn't hidden. But I just want to say, again, how poor of a project is this that you didn't test for how much data was going to come through, that they had no idea. So they were afraid that the machines would crash, or I don't know what they thought. They didn't know what would happen, so they zeroed them out again to start counting over. So.
All right, guys. Obviously, Onion had control over the selection, not Maricopa County. So my question is how you know it's even going to be right? And they didn't even know if those machines could actually work properly. They had to reset them, because they didn't know how far they could count. That tells you enough about the machines that they might be unreliable. And number 2, you got me, was the building's not secure. And the computers, as well as the laptops, people had access to them. And people had the ability to actually do something to them if they wanted to. All right? I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's possible. She's pretty much said there's no security in that building. All right, number 3. Onion did an audit, and they only did a certain percentage of the vote. Well, how do you know it's correct? If you're doing only a certain percentage, not the whole thing. You need a complete audit of all the vote. Make sure you don't miss anything. Make sure all stones are uncovered so there's no conspiracy theories. But they didn't do that. That's negligence, in my opinion. All right, guys, now it's time for my last thought. And the longer this audit goes, the more and more we find out, the more and more shady it looks. And I don't know about you guys, but they need to keep pushing and pushing until the truth comes out. Because I like to know what happened. That don't mean it's going to change anything right now. But what it means is they can make laws and stuff like that in order to make sure it don't happen again. And that's what I want. I want there to be transparency in our elections and it to be fixed. But another story that's happening as well is it looks like a huge citizen group is now suing Arizona as well for 2018, 2019, 2020 selection that happened in those years. Now, I'm gonna look into that story and I'll get back to you with it. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please hit like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. Peace.